First of all, I want to just share Build Up is a workforce development, early college, independent high school model. And before I kind of unpack Build Up's model, I just want to tell you a second about Euphrates. He is an amazing young man. He's a professional carpenter. He earns well over a livable wage. He's a homeowner. He's also a change agent in his community. And I should probably mention that he's just 19 years old. And I just want you to take a moment, think about what you are or were doing as a 19-year-old. And once you have that picture of yourself in your mind, I'm imagining most likely you weren't fully engaged in a career. You probably weren't earning above a livable wage, and most likely were not a homeowner. And you're now probably wondering how this is possible, especially for young people who are coming out of an area that is well below, where most everybody is well below the poverty line. Now, one fundamental difference between your experience in Euphrates might be that Euphrates went to Build Up Community School. He had the benefit of this program that is focused on helping young people navigate three of the most deterministic systems in their lives. That's education, career development, and home ownership. So Build Up is a three-pronged approach as an education model that focuses on these areas: a quality academic experience that prepares them for a career, and also a career-connected experience in that education, where they are able to get into internships and high-demand career fields. And then probably what I think of as another pillar in our program is the postgraduate support piece. And this is where students are given opportunities to find pathways to college and more training and enter high demand careers and end up with an opportunity to purchase an affordable home with equity. And this is where I'm really grateful for our partners in this team with UCLA who helped us re-envision and rethink this postgraduate portion of our program in helping to make it more sustainable. I'll let Caitlin tell you more about that.
Yeah, so let's jump into our adventure. So first, I want to note that the Society for Human Resource Management finds that the cost of replacing an employee leads to losses in productivity and management time that reach 90 to 200% of annual wages. This is an incredible cost for businesses. But what if it didn't have to be this way? This is exactly where BuildUp comes in. Our solution is to create a subsidiary temp agency that matches BuildUp graduates to local organizations. By utilizing BuildUp's existing infrastructure of trade school curriculum, tracking of attendance, motivation, and baseline skills, BuildUp is able to vet qualified students to fill these vacancies and provide employers with a stable flow of qualified individuals. Now, jumping into the target market for this venture. First, our target market focuses on trade employers who need entry-level workers. Across the United States, the construction industry alone needs about 439,000 new workers annually. This highlights a significant labor shortage. Within our serviceable market of Texas and Alabama, where the build-up schools are located, there are tens of thousands of construction and trade companies, representing a large pool of potential employers who are seeking this entry-level talent. However, our immediate focus is much smaller and more realistic. We start with local employer partners near our training programs in Birmingham, Selma, and Brownsville, and we estimate around 400 to 500 employers that regularly hire entry-level trade workers, which allows us to build an initial pipeline of 20 to 40 employer partnerships. So, how would BuildUp enter this market? The first phase would be to leverage their existing network of corporate partners, such as Habitat for Humanity, and to place their recent graduates into entry-level trade jobs, putting an emphasis on these high-demand sectors of construction, electrical, and plumbing. After a strong performance in this role, we hope to expand by increasing the number of graduates entering this workforce pipeline and expand partnerships with additional companies. Now, I'll walk through the competitive landscape, and there are three main players. First, there are traditional staffing agencies such as Snelling, but they mainly focus on quick placement and mostly general labor, not long-term trained pipelines like BuildUp has. Second, there are workforce intermediaries, and these are our closest competitors. Some examples are Cristo Rey Network, Europe, and Genesis Works. And they do provide training and structure, but they're often national, so they're not necessarily connected to local needs. Third, there's direct hiring, and this is the status quo today, where employers recruit on their own, but they struggle to find trained entry-level workers and they experience very high costs. So overall, there's a clear gap between training, placement, and local demand. Okay, yeah. So Buildup is able to directly address this gap. First, it creates a local postgraduate pipeline which connects graduates to real jobs in their community. Second, students complete multiple internships while at Buildup schools, so they graduate with hands-on experience they can take into the workforce. Third, the model is very mission aligned, giving students a clear path to full-time employment. And another huge advantage is that BuildUp creates a supply of reliable workers, allowing them to save on employee search costs and also reduce the unpredictability of new hires. So instead of just simply placing workers, BuildUp creates a reliable and long-term system. To calculate each scenario, we took into account a few assumptions. To start, we calculated a baseline $17 an hour based on the average starting wage across positions in construction, warehouse work, clerical work, and plumbing. And we also assumed that our graduates would be able to work around 30 hours a week and 26 weeks per year. And to estimate these three scenarios, we applied a markup to the worker's hourly wage, which reflects how staffing agencies make their revenue. Now, looking at profit, utilizing our realistic revenue estimate, the total cost for the subsidiary development are around $75,000, which is also our ask to fund this venture. This accounts for the process of registering an LLC, which is around $900, and the cost of maintaining a full-time employee, leaving us with net profits of $150,050. While these profits will be extremely valuable to fund programs that create more homeowners like Euphrates, they also provide a number of broader impacts. So I'll let Stephen expand on.
Well, no, this is just really a great adventure for us because it's re-examining work we're already doing in a space we already have a lot of success in. And it's taking this pivotal part of our program, our postgraduate support processes, and turning what's really a huge expenditure into an asset. And this is paving the way to having a lot more success stories so other young people like Euphrates can have this opportunity. And that's the story we want to see written again and again at this school, taking young people who have next to no possible way forward and putting them on a once thought impossible pathway to stable careers in home ownership.